If you're stuck dealing with a manipulative ex, you already know the typical co-parenting advice doesn't just fall flat, it can actually make things a whole lot worse. So this is your new strategic playbook, designed specifically for high-conflict custody battles right here in D.C. We're cutting out all the fluff and getting right to what actually works in a courtroom. Let's get into it.
Right now, you've probably been told over and over again to communicate more, to be flexible, to just try and find some common ground. But every single time you do, it blows up in your face, doesn't it? Your flexibility is mistaken for weakness, your words are twisted, and every single time you try to cooperate, you're just handing your ex another opportunity to create chaos. If that sounds like your life, you're in exactly the right place.
This right here, this is the most important mental shift you have to make. I want you to really hear this. The problem isn't how much effort you're putting in, it's the strategy you've been told to use. Trying to co-parent with someone who actually thrives on conflict, it's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. It's just not going to work. It's time for a completely different approach. So why does it fail so badly? Well, it's because you're not even playing the same game. You think you're co-parenting for the good of your child, but a manipulative ex, they're counter-parenting. Their goal isn't what's best for your kid. No. Their goal is to win, to undermine every decision you make, and to stay in control by using your child as a pawn. And let's be crystal clear about the stakes here. This old approach isn't just ineffective, it is actively harmful. The constant conflict is literally damaging to your child's developing brain. Every phone call, every text, it's an open door for them to manipulate and gaslight you. And anytime you try to cooperate, they see it as an invitation to stomp all over your boundaries. The entire approach is the problem. Okay, so if co-parenting is off the table, what's the answer? It's something called parallel parenting. And this isn't some self-help theory. It's a real, court-recognized legal strategy. It's designed for exactly these kinds of high-conflict situations where any kind of collaboration is just impossible. Think of it this way. It's about protecting your child by building walls, not bridges. The whole idea here is disengagement. It's simple, really. You both stay active, involved parents, but you operate in your own separate orbits. The goal is to create a shield around your child, a space that's finally free from all the conflict, but just cutting off the interactions that fuel the fire. You're parenting alongside them, not with them. Just look at the difference on this slide. Co-parenting over on the left, it assumes you have mutual respect, open communication, shared goals, all the things that are completely missing in your situation. Parallel parenting on the right assumes the opposite. It demands disengagement, it puts strict limits on communication, and it closes all those little loopholes that manipulators just love to exploit. Your mission is to get from the left column to the right, starting today. All right. A massive part of making this shift is changing how you communicate. From this moment on, your communication is no longer a conversation, it's evidence. Every single email, every text you write has to be written as if a judge is going to be reading it over your shoulder one day, and this is where a little tool called the BIFF method is about to become your new best friend. BIFF. It stands for brief, informative, friendly, and firm. This is your new formula for everything. Brief, we're talking 2 or 3 sentences, tops, no emotional essays. Informative, just the facts, ma'am. Friendly, keep it neutral, polite, like you're emailing a coworker you don't know very well. And finally, firm. State your position, and that's it. The conversation is over. No debate, no negotiation. Let's see this in action, okay? The wrong way on the left, it's emotional, it's accusatory, and it's basically begging for a fight. Your ex lives for this stuff. But the BIFF way on the right, it's perfect. It's brief, it states the facts, it's polite enough, and it firmly shuts the door on any more discussion. See, one is drama, the other is data. From now on, you are data. Now, let's talk about how all this builds your actual legal case. In a D.C. family court, charm can be a very powerful weapon. A manipulative person can be incredibly convincing in front of a judge, and the only thing that cuts through that is a mountain of cold, hard, documented proof. Your memory just isn't good enough. You need a log. This right here is the absolute key to winning in court. 1 late pickup? That's just an accident. But 15 late pickups in 6 months? Now that's a pattern of unreliable behavior that's hurting your child. Your job is to document everything, and I mean everything, so you can connect the dots for the judge and show them that undeniable pattern. So how do you document this pattern in a way a judge will actually pay attention to?
You use a system. The herd method is how you transform all these chaotic, emotional moments into the clear, objective evidence that a court needs to see to make a decision.
So for every single incident, you're going to log these 5 points. You start with H, halt. What happened? Just the objective facts. Then E, emotion. How did your child react? This is critical because it connects their behavior to the impact on your kid. Then A for your action, R for the result, and finally D for the exact date and time. Trust me, this structured data is pure gold for your attorney.
Think of it like this. Your daily communication and your documentation, those are your tactics on the ground. The long-term strategy, the end game, is to get all of this baked into a legally bulletproof parenting plan. This becomes your ultimate defensive weapon.
I want you to burn this into your brain. With a high conflict person, any bit of ambiguity in a legal document is not an oversight, it is a loophole, and it's a loophole they will exploit over and over again. Your parenting plan has to be written with the precision of a military operation, leaving zero, and I mean zero, room for interpretation.
I mean, just look at the difference here. Evening pickup is going to be a fight every single time. But pickup is at 6 p.m. sharp, forfeited after 6:15. That's an unbreakable rule. Communicate as needed is just an open invitation for harassment. All communication through the Our Family Wizard app only shuts it right down. Specificity is your shield.
Okay, so while all these strategies are great for managing the day-to-day grind, there are certain lines that, when they get crossed, demand immediate legal action. You absolutely need to know what these red lines are so you can act fast to protect your child. If you see any of these, this is no longer about just documenting for later. This is an emergency. Coaching your child, genuine fear, forcing them to keep secrets, signs of neglect, or threatening to abandon them, these are all signs of severe emotional abuse. They require an immediate call to your lawyer to talk about filing for an emergency custody modification. Do not wait.
And what are the stakes when one of those red lines gets crossed? Well, proving this kind of severe abuse often requires something called a forensic psychological evaluation. And in Washington, D.C., the high-end cost for one of those can be as much as $8,000. This is no game. The financial and emotional costs are astronomical, which is exactly why your strategy has to be perfect.
Look, what we've given you here is the essential playbook, the BIFF method, the herd system, how to build an ironclad parenting plan. But just having the knowledge isn't enough. Execution, especially in a DC courtroom, is everything. And that's why these incredibly complex cases really do require an expert legal guide, someone from a firm like Lopez Law that lives and breathes high-conflict family law. You now have the tools. You have the playbook to stop the chaos, to protect your child, and to finally take back some control. So the only question left is, when are you going to decide that enough is finally enough?